Okay, I'm going to be doing another review of Jose's knives, and here's the Groda that I've been using to carve spoons with for quite some time. And he made me another knife, a Groda also, same style, just a hair different, a little bit steeper in angle, so I can get into grooves like this a little bit better without worrying about the blade having a problem. This is kind of interesting comparison as far as length. The knife on the left here, your right, is the new one, and on this side is the old one, and you can see it's a little bit longer, so you got a little bit longer cutting edge and a little bit less handle gripping area, but that's not a problem because of the handle shape. Both are like the 1080 steel. This one is made a little bit different. It's rounded here and sharp here for the striking the steel still for bushcraft work, but basically the same knife, but this one is a little bit steeper angle. So I wanted to try it out, and I thought the best way to try a knife out is to make a spoon. So I have this piece of maple I got up on the pass about 3 months ago, and I'll have to baton it, and I want to make a spoon, you can see about this length, in this character here, and we'll see how it comes out. Really good test of a knife because it has to do so many different types of operations, and testing the sharpness of it first. I'm not doing too good a job holding the paper, but you can see it's really nice and sharp. But what I have to do, first of all, is baton this piece, and then I'll just take excerpts of the video as I make it. And it's got a crack in it right here, and so I'll try to baton it on that crack. Nothing says it's going to work, but it did. Not the knife, but the piece of wood. It's a little curved, but we'll have fun with that. And the first chore, usually I use a hatchet to do the thinning down part, but I'll use the knife all the way. The only thing I'm going to use, and I'll show later in the video, is a crook knife to help make the bowl a little bit. But my first step is to take and start cutting underneath the bowl so that we get some shape to it. And like I said, I'm not going to show you all of this, I'm just going to show parts of it, and of course the ending spoon when I get it done. So what I'm going to do is cut this down. This will be the underside of the bowl over here, and this will be where the bowl is. The other thing I have to do, and that's the biggest work, work-wise, for the knife, is to narrow this down for handle. And usually, like I say, I use a axe on this, but I'll use a knife for this and thin down the edges. Instead of boring you with this, I'll just keep doing it. And and there's actually a worm in here, so kind of funny, but I'm going to get the worm out. And I intended to give this to Jose as a gift, and so I'm not sure about how this slit in the side of the, hopefully it isn't too deep. I usually can work around different defects in the wood. This is a maple, and so it's not a soft wood, so I'm not using it on pine or something, so just to make sure you're aware of that. It's a maple I got up in the Willamette Pass, dead vine or piece that was laying there. But you can see the handle's coming along fine, you know, nice long sweeps of curls and stuff. It's going down the deal and making it rounded out, and it probably will have a little bit of a curve in it, and that gives it some character. The only character problem I'm worried about is this wormhole right here, and it happens to be that it's on the side that I would like it to be, on the curved side on the other side. anyway, knife's working really well. Now forget this is maple, it's not some other type of wood that's easy to carve necessarily, so I'm not testing it out on something that's almost got through the wormhole. So we're going to have a little bit of a indentation on both sides here, so that's what I kind of do when I run into something like this. I go ahead and work around things like that, and that becomes the design of the handle or whatever I'm working on the spoon. But we'll make it look nice, and we'll actually act like we planned it that way. But I'm doing what you call stop cuts right now because of this. I want to go just a little ways and then go back and get rid of the curls that I go in that direction, and hopefully. Okay, now I'm at the point where I want to use my crook knife a little bit here and work on the bowl. And so this is what you do with it. And you can use a knife, and I have, but you just can't get the nice smooth digs in that you can with the crook knife. And so this is how you do it. Show you in a second here. Closer up anyway. And I'm going to show some close-ups of the spoon being done. Still pictures on the video, because I'm not sure how close up this is all showing up. I wanted to show how the knife is doing on this, though. That's the main thing. But I'll be making the bowl with the crook knife. Every once in a while I take the knife and see a place, where I need to even it out, I'll do that. And it's just a lot of back and forth type work, and I actually take the spoon to a different light source somewhere else besides right here and look at it, and I can see little imperfections, and then I work on that. Like I can see some marks right here that I need to get out before I start sanding. I dug in. It's nice and sharp. That's the trouble. You got to be careful. You'll dig into the wood too much, and you got to do a back cut like that. But it's actually looking pretty nice. And I worked around the knot. Kind of looks goofy. I want it sanded down to look a lot better, but it's always going to be a little bump there with that knot. But I kind of made two little grooves on each side of the knot, and it feels pretty nice for a cook spoon. You can grab a hold of here like this, or you can choke up on it, but I think it's going to make it. Doing some heavier sanding, then I always go back and look at it and see if where the faults are again, and it's kind of a back and forth type deal. But I narrowed the handle here where the wormhole was, and then I started widening it as I went back here, and then of course I did this with the knot. And we'll see what it looks like. I'm going to sand it up with some 80 grit sandpaper and kind of get a feel for the general looks of it before I continue on. I have to shape the bowl sometimes. You notice I'm wearing gloves. I always wear a glove on my left hand because the knife slips, at least it's going to have to go through the glove first. But fun spoon, and it's shaping up, and use these two guys here. Because it's got so doggone many wormholes and stuff I have to work around and knots that it wouldn't be worth it. But since I started with it and showed you from the beginning from a round piece of wood. I'm not a person who gives up on it. It's got a beautiful grain going here though. I really like that, and I'll show you here in a second. Yeah, the grain in this, and I'll show some closer-ups of it too, but nice grain in that bowl. Just nice crosshatch looking to it. And you see how ugly that looks right there on the knot on the handle down here, and I'll really smooth that out quite a bit. But it's going to be a fun cooking spoon, and using this Groda here. Okay, I have the rough sanding down pretty much here now, and I don't know if the video will show up, but you can see flaky stuff, and it shows that the wood is still a little bit green yet, but looking pretty nice. Worked around the knot pretty well here, using a piece of wood and just go like this with it, and try to get it rounded nice and even and smooth. And granted, this 60 grit sandpaper is not going to make it really super smooth, but it shapes the wood into the type of spoon you want, and I really like it. Okay, this actually is turning out so I can oil it. It wasn't as green as I thought. Actually turned out to be a pretty nice spoon. I'm pretty tickled with it. It has some oddities in some places, but that's what makes spoons kind of neat. I'll take some close-up pictures of it and put it in the video as well. But next step is to oil it, and rub it clean first of all, and then take some mineral oil that's food safe mineral oil, and rub it in for the first coat. I'll do this quickly because it's not all about the spoon as much as it is the knife, but without the knife there wouldn't be the spoon. And this type of maple is not going to get much darker, but I got it on the pass, and it's not the typical real hard maple, but kind of medium, you might say, as far as hardness is concerned. But I'll put about 3 coats of oil on this, and you can see that it turned out really nice, and nice working cook spoon. Deep enough bowl, you can scoop up with it really well. Just turned out pretty pleasing, and let it sit there for a while. I'll take it inside because you get dust particles on it in here, or outside out here in my work area. But now, after I've used the knife, let's see how sharp it is. Dusty, that's for sure. Let's get it away from that a little bit. So obviously quite sharp yet. With this candy ground, it is really nice.